I'm Lara Sky, I'm a professional dominatrix who works online, and today we're going to talk about limits because I am sick fed up of people telling me that they have no limits. And the truth is, you have limits, you just haven't thought about them, okay? Everybody has a limit. No matter how far they may be able to go before they hit that limit, every single person has a limit. And if you come to me and you say, I have no limits, do what you want, and I tell you to eat your own poop, is that a limit? Oh wait, I thought you had none. Send me £1,000. Oh, you don't want to do that. You don't like Dom. Oh, why don't you cut your fingers off? Oh, is that a limit? Would that hurt? Oh, would that be inconvenient for the rest of your life? Oh, you don't want to be permanently maimed. Okay, see, these are all extreme examples of limits. But what it says to me is that you haven't put the energy into thinking about what you want to explore during your session, and that you really don't know yourself very well, and you're probably not a very safe person to play with, especially when you're in real life or you're going to be going into something which does push your limits. You have to be very specific about what they are. So you might say, oh, it's common sense that I don't want my fingers cut off. I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be very ethical for me to do it to you, but it doesn't mean that somebody doesn't want their fingers cut off. I don't know. Do I? I'm not a mind reader. Your partner isn't a mind reader. The person you're booking a session with isn't a mind reader. So unless you can pre-establish your limits and let them know, you can always renegotiate during a scene. You can say, so this is something I want to try. I really want to be tickled and humiliated. But I want you to stop after 5 minutes and ask me, or I've never done this thing before, so this is how far I think I can go, but maybe that'll change during. That's completely and utterly fine, but you have to have thought about it before you go into it. So this video was inspired by somebody last night who said, I want to go for a real-time session, but I have no limits and I don't know how to find anyone. So we did find out very quickly that they had limits through our little discussion, which was much like the few examples that I have just given you. So when you do think about your limits, it's not what's common sense to you, because everyone has different limits. Everyone has different versions of what they think is acceptable. Some people might have experienced sessions before, they might have been practicing things, and it's very different between each individual person when it comes to pain, when it comes to phobias, when it comes to things that might trigger them and give them a bad experience, and also when you're looking at your dominant skills. So I'm not really going to go into it too much, but if you are going to book a real life session, you will obviously know what you want to explore during your session, and you will search for someone who specialises in that. And I think that's pretty easy to do your research and to say, okay, I really want to be feminized, so I'll go to someone who specialises in feminization. You're not going to go to someone who's a professional wrestler. Okay? So there's things like that. It's about doing your research. And a lot of it I kind of covered in my previous video, which was communicating your boundaries with your partner, about sitting down, knowing yourself, kind of going through a checklist. I think I've actually got them linked in the description, a few different checklists and options to go through for that. So maybe go and watch that video if you need help. But yeah, your limits can be flexible. You will generally have kind of your likes and your dislikes. And then within that, you'll have your hard limits and your soft limits. But you should 100% be able to express your hard limits. Even if you're going to be doing something that you enjoy, you should be able to say, I enjoy it in this way. If you want to be humiliated, I want these names used. These are words that I don't like. These are things that I wouldn't enjoy. And you should be able to communicate during the session and say, you know, I'm not really enjoying this, or could you do that differently? I think a lot of subs get caught up in the idea that the Dom is completely in control, where actually it's kind of a partnership to get you to the mental space that we want you to be in. So it's not all about, I'm just going to let them do whatever they want, even if I'm not enjoying it. You can still tell them. They could say no. They're perfectly entitled to say, no, I don't want to do that. I want to end this here. That's not within my own limits. So it is a back and forth. And if you went into a session and you had unrealistic expectations that you hadn't communicated beforehand, you're less likely to have a good session. Or if you haven't communicated your boundaries beforehand, you're maybe going to end up doing something that you don't enjoy later on. I don't want this to turn into too long a video. I just wanted to get that out there to kind of reiterate what your limits are, what your boundaries are, because I always find that subs struggle to communicate them. And obviously it is very much about reflecting on yourself. It's not something I can do for you. I can do it with you. I can sit down with you and we can work through different things, and we could say, okay, do you like this? Do you like the idea of that? Do you want it done this way? Do you want it done that way? But you're far better spending the time on your own, taking a few hours out even, and looking through everything. If you don't know what something means, Google it. Go and spend the time actually thinking about what your limits are and what you are specifically looking for. It'll just mean that all your interactions in your sessions or scenes are far better, and it gives you a really solid basis to actually, explore more before you've actually reached your hard limit or past it. It just means that you're in a more safe and controlled space, and it really will make your whole journey into BDSM so much better for both parties, because there's nothing wrong with doing multiple sessions and pushing yourself further every time. I would say if your main concern is the cost of a session and you really want to push yourself as hard as you can to get the most out of it, then perhaps sessions aren't for you. You should be looking at what's best for you, what's going to be most enjoyable, not about absolutely ruining your life for the sake of, a couple £100. That's not what we want here. We want something safe, controlled, and something that will really, really empower you and help you on your journey. So the next time a sub comes to me trying to tell me they have no limits, they're going to be made to watch this video. And you're going to have to come back to me and say, fridge. Okay? That's your word. Prove you watched the video this far. And I also want to hear what your limits are. I don't want you to be like, I've watched a video and I still don't know what they are. Go away and don't come back until you actually have half of your brain still gathered, okay? I know it's difficult, but just work it out. And to anyone who's just watching this of their own free will, thank you for watching. Remember to follow all my social media, which is linked on larasky.co.uk. My Instagram is larasky69 currently, but things change. People get deleted. Accounts get banned. And yeah, remember to like this video and subscribe here, and I will be back another day for hopefully a little bit of a less intense video where I get a little bit less mad, but who knows? I feel like some of you love it.